you are a very prolific writer. As I said, if I tried to read the names of every single book in your mystery series, forget about the non-mystery series books, this video would be an hour long. Since 2019, you've published more than 25 mystery novels. Again, that's just the mysteries, and that's not including all the other stuff that you've written. What is your system, or do you have a system, for being able to write so prolifically? And then also, what do you say to people who are suspicious about people who write multiple books in a year?
So it's funny, when I read this, we were discussing this question, it cracked me up because I don't feel prolific at all. I feel like it takes me forever to put out a book versus my goals and my ideas and my wish list of works in progress. I actually feel like a very slow writer. But that being said, I am excited about how many books that I've done, and it's really just grit and determination, because at the beginning of my writing career, our oldest daughter was in public school. My husband and I talked about it. I came home from an office job to give the writing thing a shot, see how it worked. I had the house to myself. I had peace. I had quiet. I would write 3,000 or 4,000 words in a morning and then go do yard work, and it was amazing. And then 5 years ago, my youngest daughter was born, and I only get to write when she goes to her grandma's house once a week, it feels like, or squeaking in 50 words here, 200 words there in between homeschool and, cooking and cleaning and showers that weren't very often in the beginning years, much less often than the writing, it felt like. So hearing myself described as prolific is very flattering and also very hilarious, because to me, in the grind and in the day-to-day, I feel like I barely get anything done compared to those early years. As far as a system, I've gotten a lot better at accepting some days it might be 50 words and just trying to get a little bit on the page. Or if I can't write, if I can't get in the zone, or I can't get enough time to myself without distractions, then I'll at least take some notes of my ideas of a conversation or my ideas of an outfit, so that I have a place to start that's not a blank page. And then truly, we all have to thank my mother, because once a week, my daughter goes to either play or spend the night at her house, and I take about 5 or 6 hours to actually get to write, cook myself a meal that's not child friendly, that, involves rice or spicy food or not a chicken nugget. And I have that little bit of time to myself every week that I try to crunch out as much as possible.
Because you have multiple series and then you have the non-mystery. Are you writing more than one book at the same time?
I am usually hardcore writing one book and then getting the ideas out or down, maybe even an intro chapter for another book. There's definitely never only one in my head. I don't always write them side by side as far as a good chunk of each all the time. I am currently working on a multi-author series project, but I'm also brainstorming the next in my low steampunk fairy tale series and really fleshing out what I want my characters to be. So that's a lot of my process. Is I'll have a small project on the back burner that gets time, and then I'll have the big words that I'm trying to get done on something that I've assigned a deadline for myself usually, or occasionally I have a deadline with someone else if we're in a group of writers.
I gotta say, I still think you're prolific. I mean, it's amazing to me. It takes me about 2 to 3 years to write one book. So
Really?
So for someone who's
Mine
writing,
are short. Mine are shorter than some people's too. I have some that are 18,000 words, some that are 30, some that are 55. So, maybe I'm cheating by making some novellas here and there and some shorter books here and there. But yeah, I really appreciate the compliment 100%, because I never would have categorized myself that way. And I guess I don't give myself enough credit too, but it feels different,
That's so I find that amazing, because if I read the stat, since 2019, so we're in 2016, so 7 years, 25 mystery books, and that's not including the other books. That's a lot of books.
Thank you.
So when I was doing the research to talk to you, I found some of your other interviews or blog posts or just various things that you've written, and a story that you'd like to tell us, how that you've been creating books since you were a kid with cardboard and ribbon. But what about reading? I mean, most writers were readers first. Are you a reader? What kind of books did you grow up reading? What kind of books do you like to read now?
I am absolutely a reader. I am still looking for the dream job where people just pay me to read things and I don't have to do anything else, but I haven't found it yet. Um, my mom was really good at creating a love of stories for my sister and I. She read to us at night to the point that she would get yelled at by us if she skipped a page because we had the book memorized at 5 and 6 years old. I loved to read in school. I don't know if you're familiar with accelerated reader points. I was always going on the field trip because I had the most points in the class where you take a test on your book and you earn points. They couldn't keep me out of the library in school. I love it. As a kid, any kind of little children's books, we had tons of them. I loved the Beatrix Potter stories because of how beautifully they were illustrated. I, as a younger child, I read a lot of the Nancy Drew mysteries. I read the Redwall series where you've got the fantasy characters and the war and the battles. And I mean, anything that I could get my hands on, I was reading, except I don't like and never have been interested in nonfiction, which is a funny aside because my husband only reads nonfiction. So
What about, do you, like now, in between your writing, do you find time, do you carve out time to read? Do you read mysteries now, or do you try and read non-mysteries since?
I do. I read a little bit of both. I have a couple of favorite mystery authors that are on auto-buy for me. Jana DeLeon's Misfortune series. They are all in my Kindle, every single one. So I do read a lot of mysteries, but I also read a lot of historical romance, a lot of rom-com, a lot of fantasy, romantasy, high stakes type thing. I basically still read everything minus erotica and minus nonfiction. I'm there for it. All the other genres, please bring them to me. And it's funny because sometimes I want to read more than I want to write when I'm stuck somewhere. But my husband can usually tell when I finish a story finally because I will binge read like 3 new things on my Kindle. I was just nothing for days but reading because I need out of the world that I built for a little bit and the stress of getting it finished on time or whatever the deal was at that point. So I still read throughout the year, and then I have those few times of really heavy binge reading almost as a reward for finishing my own project. So always a reader, never going to stop reading. My 5-year-old that I homeschool started reading at age 3, and she reads chapter books now because we are pro readers in this house.
Okay, I love it. My binge reading time is I have to travel for work a lot, so flights I won't unless I'm on a deadline and I have to work. I take flights as reading time, so I do a lot of binge reading when I'm on an airplane.
Yes, that makes complete sense. When we go on a road trip, my sweet husband drives and I read and the kids read, or the older kid listens to music while the other 2 of us read. And my husband does his nonfiction in his podcast. I mean, everybody's got a book. We're really silent road trip crew, really.
That's funny. It's like a silent disco. I don't know if you know the
Yeah,
concept of like everybody's got a different thing going.
exactly.
Normally, I ask people to describe their book and or series in 3 words, but with you having so many series, I'm going to limit you to the 2 that I read. So the Ooey Gooey Bakery Mysteries series and the Steampunk Mary Poppins series. So describe either one or both if you want. That's your choice. But you can only use words that start with a letter in the title of one of the books that I read. So you've got R for rest, relax, and run, Y for your, L for life, S for spoonful, and G for gunpowder.
Okay, so I have to say, a spoonful of gunpowder was almost too easy. I could not have imagined this question in a million years, and I couldn't have come up with a better one because steampunk gadgets. So
Yep.
SG. I did, after some brainstorming, come up with our Y and L for rest, relax, run for your life. And I got random, yummy, and laughable. Random for the crimes, like we discussed earlier. Yummy for all the descriptions. I've had reviews of the book that said, I really need a snack to read this series. And laughable because I try to create either laughable characters or situations as often as I can.
Yes, excellent. And when you said laughable, I'm thinking of the snake in the sauna area. So, yes. Very good. Excellent. I love asking these questions. I'm so impressed every time with the creativity and obviously insightfulness of the authors for their own books to come up with these. Fantastic. Loved it. Thank you, Katherine, for joining us. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope everybody enjoyed the questions. Please, please, please go out and search for her series, mystery and non-mystery. Just go out and find her books. Follow. Are you on social media? You're
I'm
on
on
Facebook. Yeah.
Instagram mostly, and it's at
Okay. So
Katherine
please go
Brown.
ahead. Okay, so please go ahead and follow her on Instagram. And again, please go out and find her books and read her books. And please come back next week when I talk to another author. Thanks, Katherine.
Thank
Bye.
you.